What up, guys? Total Control 871. That's quite a face, huh? I don't know if you can see or not. I'm recording with the front camera, and I don't know if you can really see or not. And you know what? The whole purpose for me being over here was to not have the source of light in back of me so that you could see. I don't know. And then, what happens if I open the blinds? Does that help or hurt? I don't know. Hold on. I don't know if that helps or not. I kind of put the lights on. Okay. So today I am chiming in with a health and homeless update. Health and homeless update. I wasn't just making funny faces at the camera. I'm actually trying to share with you a chronic and persistent health problem that I've coped with probably since I was about maybe 16, 15 or 16 years old. I think I've referenced in passing my deviated septum. Um, it comes down and it cuts very sharply. Like it's not even a round. It's like a zigzag, and then it zigzags real bad. Basically, the right nostril is basically useless. Let me see. What was one of the things that I and what what I've been doing the entirety of my life. Excuse me, my life is I've basically been holding that right nostril open. I do it a couple of different ways. Yeah, right. The index finger kind of pushes up the cartilage. It pushes the cartilage up over the nose bone, and the middle finger. I don't know if I don't know if you can see or not. I'm recording with the front camera. I think it's only 8 megapixels, and I've got like weird lighting issues here. But if you look closely, you can see a couple of things. That there's a darker patch right here rather than right here. It's darker, and the reason why it's darker, it's because it's been due like 25 years of me pulling this side of my face like that. Like sometimes when I'm just sitting watching a TV, I'll just kind of do this while I'm sitting and watching. Or I'll do that maneuver, and it's all meant to hold open that right nostril. Um, it might seem weird, it might seem silly, but it's it's just one of those little things that ended up being a very, very big problem. One of the things that I learned that I learned as I was held overnight was apparently my heart does the breathing becomes so shallow that it begins to impact my heart. Apparently my heart rate slowed to such a pace. I'm not going to say that my heart stopped, but it slowed to such a pace that it caused concern for the overnight nursing staff to come rushing into my room to see if I was okay. Um, this, like I said, this has been a problem since I was about maybe 15 or 16 years old. It just, the right nostril gets more, I think, like occlusion, and there is data and research that says that hypoxia, because that's what I'm dealing with at night, where I'm not getting enough oxygen at night. The hypoxia might have been the cause for the atrophy the atrophy of the pituitary gland, which then causes the whole hypogonadism type 2, the whole um, morbid obesity. I'm very honest and very frank with the physicians. I don't put halos over my head. The way I see it, I should probably, maybe just be your average overweight. I know, what does that mean? I don't know. Maybe I should be like maybe 300, maybe 350. That much over. For my height, 6'3", I should be about 225 pounds. Okay. Uh, like maybe 300. 325. With just average normal overweightness. Um, but with the damage of the hypoxia, hypogonadism type 2, inability to breathe over many, many years, it has caused a great deal of damage and attributing greatly to the morbid obesity. Um, let's see, how could I say this? I need to. They're already talking about the CPAP machine, that breathing machine at night. I honestly don't know how useful it's going to be. I'll definitely give it a fair go. I'll give it a fair shakedown. Hopefully it can. I don't expect myself to be acclimated to it the first couple of nights. If I'm able to be successful in getting one, because as I stated, I do not proclaim my. I don't proclaim it to be a success of having insurance. Once I have medical cards in hand, then I'll proclaim it a success. And then, of course, you have to see what the medical coverage will cover. Um, there was the nurse at the clinic that I was at. She said that something about. She said a lot of things that I had difficulty remembering, difficulty following along. That's why I need a social worker. Um, Something about an HMO waiting 30 days. I don't know. Um, the point that I'm making though is that those breathing machines, they blow air up your face. You're not intubated. It just blows air up your face. Um, for all intents and purposes, my vent is closed. It's in the closed position. So I really don't know how successful that's going to be or not. Um, One of the things that the nurse supervisor who gave me my discharge instructions, uh, she was kind of speaking in, I guess I'll characterize it as scare tactic type things to uh, detract or derail me away. I don't know if I'm using the right words or not. Away from surgery, meaning to correct the deviated septum. Um, uh, she was talking about the sleep apnea, my weight, and fear of me not waking up from the anesthesia. Now, frankly, she didn't have she didn't have to tell me these things. um, the past decade, I think, there's been a weird rash of fatalities for facial cranial operations that just all went wrong. Probably the most notable one, I do forget her name, but she was a young girl. She was heavyset and black. Um, I believe it was her tonsils, having her tonsils removed, and she did not survive the surgery. Um, the parents were, as you can imagine, uh, grief struck and unaccepting of the girl's death. She was on life support for quite some time until ultimately there was a legal battle. It's been a while since I followed the case. From what I understand, what the medical community is referring to the young girl as the body. The body is being preserved on life support right now as I speak. It's been a while since I followed that thing. I really don't count Joan Rivers' fatality as, although it did happen in that time frame, but who are we kidding? The woman was a plastic surgery addict and she just kept fucking with her face. So, I don't know if she should be counted among the spate of fatalities or not. Um, but yeah, there were some facial cranial issues there um, that I was aware of long before the discharge nurse, spoke to me about that. It's like the impression that I got from the hospital as leaving it was that they're really only interested in treating the symptom and not the cause. Um, I really don't know how workable that is or not. It's just very difficult, breathing. See, I got a little piece of scrap of paper here. I don't know how good it's going to be at showing you. Let me see. I might have to this way. Okay, we're gonna see what we can do here. Okay. All right. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this. A little experiment. Um, I guess I'll maybe use my beard to touch my thumb so that the distance will be the same. And then I will just simply, for both of this, I'm going to breathe like normal. Not, just simply breathing like normal. And we will see how much the paper moves, if at all. I will do it normally breathing, and then I'm going to pull open the nostril and to give you a representation, to give you a visual of the difference in air that I am taking in and expelling. Okay, and now we're going to hold open the nostril. As you can see, the volume of air that I'm able to move, to breathe with. It's a dramatic difference. The coughing, the hypoxia is doing damage to my lungs and my heart. And that's what's causing the coughing. Um, like I say, when I am sitting, I do not cough. It is when I go to speak, which requires a larger volume of air. That's when I begin to cough. It is a dry cough. I'm not bringing anything up. It's just simply a dry cough. So that's what's going on with the health thing. I will see what happens with the CPAP breathing machine. Uh, I will go for. I was supposed to go for blood tests Friday. I didn't make it. I woke up in a lot of chest pain, difficulty breathing at night, and I could not eat after midnight. And it meant, that's not necessarily the problem, is that I couldn't have breakfast in the morning. And I am a couple of miles away from the bus stop to put the bike on the bus. And I just simply couldn't make it. I was starved of oxygen, and frankly, my blood, hypoglycemia. I needed blood sugar. I just needed to wake up and get level, and to equalize or whatever. Um, yeah, I guess I don't know. Like I say, I think they offer medical transports for disabled people, but I don't know how they work. Again, it's why I need a social worker. Um, I have no idea what my nonprofit is doing. I'm not scheduled to meet with them until April. I'm supposed to have a social. They told me the name of my social worker. They said that she would call me. She has not called me. Nobody has called me. Nobody's reached out. They don't care. They just don't care. Um, I am going to begin breaking down the bedroom and packing away. We're shifting topics now to the homelessness aspect, because that pretty much closes out the health aspect. That's what's causing the coughing. Maybe I will get health insurance. Maybe it won't be. I'm not ready to declare it health insurance yet. We'll see what it actually is. Um, and and for the homelessness, I am pretty much expecting. I don't know what to expect from my nonprofit. They've made it pretty clear that they can't really be what they say. You can't necessarily trust it. Maybe it is and maybe it isn't. I have to begin breaking down my bedroom. I'm going to be packing away all of my clothing into duffel bags, prepping it for emergency transport. In regards to our next topic of coping with transitioning into homelessness, my next piece of advice to you is do not wait until the very last week or the last couple of days to begin breaking down your home for moving. It would shock and amaze you how much stuff that you have. Just start doing it. Start unearthing everything. Start packing up everything. Things that you don't need. Remember, if you cannot afford a storage facility, then these are things you're going to have to simply toss and do without. Also, again, it doesn't, whether because I'm not talking about specifically my situation when I say this, because my landlords have been incredibly nice to me so far. But I know some of you guys, you might have vicious, awful landlords. Please resist the resist the urge of resist the urge of destroying the property or causing property damage to be retaliatory or punitive, or dishing out what you may perceive to be as, giving them their just rewards or whatnot. Ultimately, those damages will go on to your bill that you yourself are going to have to pay for eventually. Or if not, you don't know what kind of programs will be created in the future, 5 years into the future, We have a new pilot program gets created, you know. Uh, Even if you have an eviction, we'll take you as long as you didn't destroy things. So you don't know what the qualifiers and the disqualifiers will be on future programs. Do your best to exit the property the way you found it. Uh, and don't wait until the last minute to begin breaking down. Start doing that. So I'm going to be getting the clothes into duffel bags. I have not heard from food stamps yet. When I submitted my paperwork, they said it would be a couple of days. They said it wouldn't be more than 48 hours before I would get a phone call. I have not gotten a phone call. Um, I don't know. I'll keep my eye on the mail, of course. And and we'll just have to see, have to play it by ear. One of the things, one of the things that I wanted to point out to you about the difference between living homeless in the woods, the economics of it, and living in a home like this. Because I'm sure many of you saying, "Okay, dude, I get it. They're trying to take like half your money, or it might just simply cost half your money, or maybe even more, to live there in that home. But hey, dude, it's a home. It's someplace to live. Isn't that better?" Um, That the answer to that question is very much indeed fluid. It can change from one month to the next. I am not locked into a lease living in the city woods. Okay, so uh, if need be, I could just simply hang out at a few cafes, foregoing utilities such as our fuel. I could forego fuel, hang out in a cafe, and of course use our sleeping bag to stay warm while sleeping at night if something needed to be repaired. If something were to happen and I needed a new tent. Um, if the bike needed a serious repair, you could forego certain things, and so you could move, the money could move around like that, because I'm not locked into a lease. But if you're in a legally binding lease, then you know it, you understand what I'm saying. My suddenly becoming trapped in this home with no place, no means of leaving, that's not my landlord's concern. um that's not their concern. I can't go to them and say, "Oh my God, I need X amount of hundred for this particular year's maintenance to get the bike up and running, or to keep the bike running." That's not their concern. That's not their responsibility. That's my responsibility. And of course, meeting that financial obligation, in other words, spinning all of the plates. Would I be able to keep all the plates spinning? And it would be an awful, awful thing to find out, or to have those plates start to wobble and crash smack dab in the middle of a lease. Do you understand? And then what? I really wouldn't know what to do or what to say. Um, anyway, so that's what's going on. We're gonna look into this CPAP machine. Yeah, like they're saying that they really don't want to do any kind of surgical intervention. I am not anxious to go under any kind of fucking knife, man. Especially, I am very much myself indeed aware of some issues that have happened around facial cranial operations. Although that was about 10 years ago that was going on. Maybe things have changed. I really don't know. It is quite a dramatic difference. Just this one little, you know. I don't know if you can even hear the difference. If I get a little closer to the microphone. It literally feels like those circular weights that you put onto the end of a bench press bar. Sorry if I'm not using the correct, language for that. It's like one of those plates. When I pull open the nostril, it's like a 30-pound weight being lifted up off of my chest. Like, whew, I can breathe that much better. And when I let the nostril, go back to occlusion, it's like the plate gets put back onto my chest. So thanks, Mom. My mom's white. It's I tell you, man. I just got I just got what was left in the junk pile. It's like as far as genetics goes, they put all the effort into the brain into making me intelligent. But for the body, they were just like, I don't know, just find what's left in the junk bin. That's why I got this whole weird, fucked up body, man. Just everything is just a mess, man. Yeah, that's what I am. Just a bunch of junk parts that were left over in the genetic bin, huh? Anyway, so I'm trying to keep a positive attitude, upbeat, and what we're going to find out the exact nature of this alleged health insurance. We're going to see if I'll be able to get a breathing machine and if that breathing machine will help with nighttime breathing with such a a malformed nose. It's such a you know it's such a whatever, my septum, my deviated septum. I know it sounds weird, It's like it's normally the movie stars and shit would complain about it or whatever. Go, yeah. It's like nose job. Movie stars got nose jobs. You got that, and I don't believe me. I don't. I'm not a handsome man at all, but I have grown accustomed to this face. Were there to be any kind of surgery, I understand. I want the septum on the inside to be altered, but I don't want my nose or my anything looking any different. I would be upset if I came out looking different. Um, Even if that difference by society would be regarded as more handsome. I don't want to be more handsome. I've grown accustomed to my face. Thank you very much. And that's what I want. So, preparing for, because yes, my lease is up in June. That's where I was going with the whole lease thing and the household finances thing. I have until June to make up my mind as to whether or not if this is workable, feasible. So, all right, that's it. I am wearing what is, I think it's might be my last pair of tights. I got maybe two pair of bibs that aren't ripped at the crotch. However, however, the zippers on the ankles are broken off. So just about all of my bibs are just about everything needs to be replaced. All right, that's about it. Guess I'm done coughing you guys to death. I'm about to go here to this market. Oh my God, I'm going to see what's left on the shelves. Ooh, oh man, I don't know, man. I know they were on the news talking about how the homeless community are going to be vulnerable to coronavirus, almost like, because Drew is out there too. It's like they're using it as a new impetus for rounding up us homeless people for our protection. Now, maybe the homeless community will be vulnerable to corona, and maybe they won't. Um, we are a population that don't have health insurance. Um, we are a population who run hot blooded, man. We don't really catch flus and colds the same way regular people do. I'm not saying that we're superhuman. We get sick, but you know, in other words, our blood is hotter. Our immune systems tend to have more oomph to it. I don't know. Maybe somebody might want to do a white blood cell count on the homeless versus the non-homeless and see what that's all about. Okay, that's it. I'm hitting 32, and I will catch you guys later. Be watchful, be mindful, and practice good hygiene. That's it for now. Total Control 871.